Baldur's Gate. Having clocked just about enough hours into the game, for the very first time I finally decided to attempt a challenge run myself, playing on insane difficulty with no saves and no loads. And to further add to this challenge, my party members will only consist of shorties, restricting the recruitment of dwarves, halflings and gnomes only, meaning no one over 5 foot. The exception, however, should my main character fall to their demise, I will be able to export the character file from the last autosave and reincarnate at Candlekeep.
Nestled atop the cliffs.
So, can you complete Baldur's Gate with Shorties Only? Let's get out of here and find out. Starting with character creation, since I won't get a healer till chapter 4, it was essential to create a Dwarven cleric going with the Priest of Talos kit. With the ability to cast Lightning Bolt, a gift from Talos himself, this will sure come in handy for the run later on. When rolling for attribute points, I tend to aim for a minimum roll of 85, and praise be to Talos, I rolled an 86. And with the character now made, I bestowed a name that shall carry the weight of his legacy forward. Zappybeard the First. So with this being my first challenge run, let's see how far down the lineage of reincarnations we will go until the main game is completed. So, Venture 4, Zappybeard, first of his name. Candlekeep, the tutorial area where you perform unwanted errands for the locals, such as searching for lost property, voluntary pest control, and nursing a cow back to good health to contribute to that local Wagyu beef production. After committing a couple of murders, I thought now would be a good time to start Zappy's adventure with his foster father Grime, to which didn't last very long. Now left on his own 2 feet in the world of Faerun, it is now time to recruit those burly NPCs to join his lofty quest.
It's me, Emma.
Hey there, Emma Wen. The only use for you is to loot and boot you. Zappybeard's path then crossed with Monterey, the first shorty to join his journey to Ascension. But what's this blocking the sunlight? The duo then headed south to Bear-Ghost, where Kagan was found, creating the reliable band to carry me through over to chapter 4 into the Cloakwood Forest. Whilst the trio was taken into city sights, they stumbled upon a damsel in distress, Nira. Whilst reluctantly helping her ass fend off the stalkers, Kagan had pummeled his axe into dust and Nira resorted to almost roasting Monty. Oh my god. I can tell this is going to be a great run. After this street brawl, she even had the nerve to ask to join the party. Those who rose halflings were not welcome, let alone elven folk. The band's little legs then took them up north to enter the hustle and bustle of the Friendly Arm Inn, to which they should have suspected Grind's friends, Khalid and Jahira, to be above height restriction. So the only use we had for them was to loot and boot them as well. They also found Nira again, looking so eager in the corner, only to tease that she could actually join the adventure. But little did she realise her gem bag went missing. With what little belongings she had, she was told to bugger off for good. A fellow short lady from the inn had sent us to slay an ogre who had a belt fetish, allowing the belt of piercing to be obtained, a priceless item to assist with the Nashkel mines later on in their quest. Returning to the lovely lady and letting her know the ogre was slain, she took the belt away from us. Temporarily. Moving on, the teeny mercenaries then obtained the scroll case after trading library books with an elf, and now with the gem bag, scroll case and the belt of piercing, they were now ready to travel south to Nashkel. Not a simple journey, however. The teeny ones were victimised to a random criminal spot check by the Flaming Fist mercenaries. The sight of their armour on their stature was just unbearable, so the deed had to be done. Kagan unfortunately had fallen to their sword, but the result was worth it, obtaining their plate mail armour. A simple visit to the temple and bribing the priest for his services, Kagan was back from the dead and the band was plated up. As with any video game, Baldur's Gate also has numerous ways to stray you from the main quest, the Nashkel Carnival. The excitement of the little guy's legs carried him over in unfortunately the wrong tent, where they stumbled upon an old couple having a domestic, in which the husband murdered the wife and decided to lay his wrath upon the trio in his fit of rage. The unfair use of magic left Zappybeard alone as Monty and Kagan couldn't deal with the wicked damage, but to Zappy's luck the old man ran out of spells, and thus began trading of blows with his walking stick. Since Zappybeard was no warrior, there was a constant barrage of swings, so I decided to have Zappybeard loot the tent. Suddenly, a surge of the old man's youth erupted and a blow had landed onto Zappybeard, resulting in his demise. If this had strictly been a no save, no reload run, that would have been it for Sappy Beard's so-called legacy.
I died.
But this is a reincarnation run, so venture forth, Sappy Beard II. Emwyn was looted and booted, Sar looted and killed, sorry Sar, Kagan recruited, Nera totally rejected, whoops, so no gem bag this time. Ogre hunted down for the belt of piercing, and thus Sappy Beard II arrived at Nashkel. The brisk adventurers made it to the mines, expanding of the small fry, terrorising the miners. With the party looking worse for wear, they decided to set up camp within the mines and hope to have Sappy Beard II recast those cure spells. But what they didn't expect was the growl of kobolds awakening them from their rest. Poor Monty was riddled with arrows. The key character required to disarm the trap to progress into the mines. His belongings were picked up, and I left it to the autopathing to head the party back to the entrance. And this is where I made my second mistake, letting the autopathing from an old 90s game take my merry men back. Venture forth, Sappy Beard III! Third time's a charm, right? Hi Gorion, bye Gorion, bye Emwyn, and hi Mont. Oh, he's gone. That's going to make this run difficult. Moving on. Hi Kagan! Scroll case obtained. Belt of piercing obtained. Flaming fist plate mail obtained. Deal with nearest stalkers. This was never going to be the run anyway. Venture forth, Sappy Beard IV. By this point, you probably will get the pattern of my run before venturing into the Nashkel mines. Gorion tick. Monty and Zard tick. Emwyn tick. Kagan tick. Belt of piercing, scroll case and plate mail armor, tick tick tick, and the gem bag which we came back for later. Upon the return to the mines, Sappy Beard's lightning bolt was put to use this time.
Back! Oh shit! Step that way.
Oh! That was a close one. With the traps now disarmed, these tired fellows were finally ready to step into the unknown lair to find Mullahay, the boss of Chapter 2, who was finally confronted in an arduous battle, which Monty almost killed the run!
Shit, man.
With Mullahay finally dead, they finally made an official exit out of the mines where the Shorties made it into Chapter 3. Before sending the heroes to the Nashkel mines to find Tazok's messenger boy Tranzig, it was now time to hunt for treasure, as it is an adventure without having mystical weapons to use. So the Shorties found Basilisk, who wields one of my favourite weapons, the Ashadina Warhammer Plus 2. After claiming their just reward for bringing down the murderous criminal, the band made a well-earned purchase of the Battle Axe Plus 1 from the Feldpost Inn. And while they're at it, why not add another to the collection? The Voskona Longsword Plus 2. My favourite weapon from the entire game. We're coming for you, Grey Wolf.
None cross Grey Wolf and live.
Those will be your last words, tough guy.
Oh my god, what am I standing next to? Okay, obviously quick.
Okay, so that just happened. What is this? Sappy Beard IV one-shotted in a single swing? Venture forth, Sappy Beard V.
Is it V?
You're going to get the general idea what's going to happen next, so I'm just going to focus on the main event of Sappy Beard V's life. Mullahay was slain, leaving us now possessing 2 Rings of Holiness. Kagan wields a Battle Axe Plus 1 again, and we popped upstairs to find Tranzig, only for him to fall by the hands of the Shorties. How fortunate! Another Ring of Wizardry fell into our possession! Sappy Beard V also obtained a pair of fabulous golden pantaloons. Very fetching. Due to the last mishap, Sappy Beard V did not attempt to retrieve the Voskona Longsword Plus 2, so now it was time for the little heroes to find the bandit camp, only to be stopped by a mob who were easily converted into forest feed. After making more forest feed out of the chill hobgoblins, a glorious battle had begun against Torgos and his mob of bandit archers. Leaning into the favour of the Shorties, a lightning bolt was hurled over with great precision by Sappy Beard V. A barrage of arrows led to Kagan's valiant sacrifice, allowing the foe Torgos to be held by Sappy Beard's spell to then fall to his own wounds. A simple round trip back to the temple, the trio were back to face Tazok's lackeys in his tent. Disposing of these lackeys opened the path for the band to finally venture into Chapter 4, to the Cloakwood Forest. In preparation for the Cloakwood, the men had it in their hearts to go treasure hunting once again. The braces of archery were claimed from an unworthy dart player, and Kagan had levelled up to a magical number of max HP. They then attended to a kindred dryad, ripping the girdle of bluntness off a pair of hillbillies. The gauntlets of dexterity were permanently confiscated from the Ogrillans managing the toll bridge, which led to our short friends to find the Tome of Leadership and Influence, allowing Sappybeard V to gain insight on pickup lines for his next visit to the tavern. Feeling rather good about himself, Sappybeard V led Monty and Kagan to pillage a Gnoll stronghold and a neighbouring Svart village. Their trip had them stumble across Brage, in which I followed Treasy's incorrect answer to his riddle. To battle! So, +3 weapons are somewhat rare in Baldur's Gate 1, and Brage happens to carry a two-handed sword +3. Did I mention this weapon hits hard? Real hard! Kagan had gracefully sacrificed himself a number of times for the greater good, paving the way for Sappybeard V to his ascension. But this brutal swipe from Brage imploded Kagan into smithereens. Kagan, your previous endeavours will not be forgotten. Now, with no tank in the party, it was up to Sappybeard V and Monty to cover one another's backs from now on, reluctantly dragging Brage's corpse through Nashkel whilst Nuba accompanied them, curiously asking for where Kagan had gone. The body was dumped at the temple. To honour Kagan's memory, the duo went for another treasure hunt, taking down Basilisk for another Ashadine Warhammer +2. En route to the pirate cave, bound to hold glorious treasure, the Sirens were left to sing their songs through the skeleton's hollow skulls. Soon as the Skellies had enough of their song auditions, the cave entrance was then free to lure each of the flesh golems out wittingly, bringing them down one by one. The treasure was now theirs to claim, including the Manual of Bodily Health, allowing Sappybeard V to attempt to fill the boots of Kagan as the new party tank. Next, the boots of North were taken from Jared, and with that both Monty and Sappybeard V decided it was now time to venture into the Cloakwood. Now the plan here was to get through the woods to the mines to find Yeslik as soon as possible to increase Sappybeard V's chances to glory. Reaching area 2 of the woods, some enthusiastic Ettercaps blocked their route forward, one of which was struck by lightning during this stormy fight. Praise be to Talos, creating random strikes of lightning to aid this fight.
Struck by lightning. Or was it the Ettercat? Okay, I took. Oh my god. Just got struck by lightning. Swear his boots. I get struck by lightning. Oh my god.
What the fuck? Venture forth, Sappybeard VI. So, I'm not going to talk too much about Sappybeard VI. Let's just say he took the back exit of the Nashkel mines after Mullahay. Venture 4, Sappybeard VII. He managed to obtain the Manual of Bodily Health as well. Upon retracing the steps of his previous life, Wyverns had ambushed their passage to the bandit camp, which taught a timely lesson with the knowledge to avoid the Wyvern cave later. Just GTFO, buddies. Upon reaching Tazok's tent, the party prepared some pre-buffing, and here we go. Just gonna pause here and let you folks see what key buff was forgotten here. Right, got it? With that stupid mistake, Sappybeard VII was left uncontrollably quivering around the tent. With Kagan's quick thinking to use the fire breath potion, to my surprise that wizard had instantly turned to ash, so now to deal with the others. At this point on the reincarnation run, you're probably thinking by now that I am not capable of completing this game with Shorties Only on insane mode. But I refuse to let this challenge be the better of me. I will remain persistent, I will play this safer, and we will meet new friends along the way. Sappybeard is met with the masterful Montron and Keen Kagan once again, who all return to tunnel heroically through the Nashkel mines, which this time they saved minor building. Of all the playthroughs I have done in my life, this is the first time I've ever seen minor building live. Let this be a sign of things to come. Mullahay falls sumptuously to the Shorties' hands, and Sappybeard IV has been avenged. with Grey Wolf dropping the Barskona Longsword +2 rightfully in the stubby-legged one's possession, Kagan then moves on and axes Nimbu into nourishing tenders of meat for the inhabitants of Nashkel. They then find the messenger boy Transic, who was brought down to tatters as the lofty boys made their way over to the bandit camp, zapping Raken's scout force with the lightning of Talus into ash along the way. The indomitable Torghast Korzan lays down his full plate along with his life, knowing full well he was not fit for such admirable armour. See what I did there? Full plate? Knowing full well, yeah. Kagan then proceeds to commit arson in Tazok's tent, without Sappybeard quivering for his life this time, where Brittic and Raymond become a bit more seared for their liking, allowing Venk to be diced up into chunks for this barbecue by Monteron's handy knife work. Zappybeard, Monty and Kagan then find themselves returning to accursed Cloakwood, where within they were ambushed by a mob of a strenuous Etiquette, a hurdle in our tracks on this forsaken run. Favour was not upon the defending heroes' side in this battle, leaving them only one choice: to flee. Their stubby legs took them westward and the dreaded squeal of the sprung trap was heard. Monty had triggered the web trap, sealing the fate to the end of the challenge run once again. Cloakwood, the major bane of the run, where Sappybeard V, who has ventured the furthest, had fallen. Is this the fate of the Sappybeards, to no longer ascend further than these woods? Not this time. Rummaging into the stubby one's packs, a fated potion of magic blocking was found and a couple of oils of speed were to be distributed amongst the retreating heroes. Monty was to chug down the potion of magic blocking and hope to render him immune to the web, and both Sappybeard and Kagan were to hastily lather themselves in oils of speed to slip on out of there. With those actions cued, we leave it to the hand of the malicious Baldur's Gate D&D dice rolling to decide upon our hero's fate. Good. Zappybeard hasn't drunk anything yet though.
You spoke at me sleep lightly.
I don't want to talk. All right.
Yes.
Drink it!
Of course. Yes.
Shit, that is close. That's gonna hit him.
Oh, now I wonder. Of course. This better sleep lightly. A simple task. What? You can sleep.
Stop running back then! Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my god indeed. Praise be to Miner Belding. His luck of surviving those kobolds from the Nashkel mines has rubbed off onto these guys. Onwards into the Cloakwood mines. We now reach the grave of Sappybeard V, in which, again, Talos decided to conjure up not only rain, but another fiendish thunderstorm. A storm. Oh my god. Right now, in this specific spot. Was that so necessary? All I can say from here on out is the Shorties made it to take out Drasus' band, who took guard at the entrance of the mines, in great weather I like to add, with the birds chirping to my delight, paving the way into these forbidden mines to then find a new face to join our stubby friends. Yeslik, finally, new flesh in the party joins the fray to assist Sappybeard on his journey to Ascension, and with his wandering wisdom on these mines, he takes them down to find Daveron, a mere fart in the wind, when a potion of magic blocking is handy for gulping down. So, after Davron's anticlimactic death, the trio, along with Yeslik's newfound freedom, surfaces from the mines to find themselves with a 68-hour journey ahead from the mines back to the Friendly Arm Inn. Praise to Miner Belding's bellowing grace, they all made it back safe and sound to then finally cross the bridge to the city of Baldur's Gate. Well, almost safe and sound. They met with some spiders on the way, giving Yeslik a farewell poison present home, and those Eticaps still had the audacity to try and stop us in our tracks again. At the end of the bridge, they stumbled across a gnomesome gnome, Quail, the fifth face, to join hands along with the lofty Shorties. Now with full access to the city of Baldur's Gate, the sixth and final member of the party, Tiax, was recruited, who now completed the sturdy army of Shorties. These righteous hand men would allow Zappybeard to rise to ascension in the favour of Miner Belding. Well, we can't neglect Alora, who temporarily joined the lads only to swipe the tome of understanding for Zappybeard's wisdom and the cloak of bouldering from the harlot Quinesh. The men continued their path, swooping into the Seven Sons to save Jasso from the clutches of the devious doppelgangers. They then took it upon themselves to take up part-time employment cleansing the sewers of overgrown bugs in this great city. Credit to the city on having a sewer system, but come on, allowing it to get out of hand to the point where an ogre is able to have time to become fluent in arcane magic. Following the performance of their handiwork, Scar, second in command of the Flaming Fist, referred the stubbies to the Grand Duke Elton himself, who personally put in their application to the Iron Throne to be promoted to merchant. Another step closer to the rise of Shorties. If only career progression in real life was just as easy as it was in Baldur's Gate. Unfortunately, on this occasion, this interview had not gone down too friendly, which led to hostilities. So these middle management folk were pasted into the marble flooring of the Iron Throne. Even though they were victorious in battle, the rejected small talented workers returned to the Duke to discuss how it went, only to then be sent back to Candlekeep University for further education. The stumpy scholars studied the ancient books and knowledge held within the walls of Candlekeep, whilst crossing paths with a kind student going by the name Coverus, who generously parted ways with his ring to Zappybeard, to then later find out once the heroes were chucked in prison after being framed for murder, it was in fact Saravok. Peak writing by the developers right there. Coverus is Saravok backwards! Who would have thought? Our short-legged friends were then ported down into the depths of the catacombs, uncovering both the Manual of Gainful Exercise and a second Tome of Understanding, unmatched tuition which you can only find underneath the Great Library. Now that Zappybeard is worthy of a graduation, they all proceeded through to exit the catacombs, only to deal with a Pratt and his ragtag band before emerging to see the light of day once again. Pleased with his achievement and this honourable degree, Zappybeard decided to relive his student days at the Blushing Mermaid back up to Baldur's Gate, to only find an upset regular patron, who irritatingly almost made Kagan pace. Too close for comfort for almost losing out only tank so late into this run. Once that patron was placed under the table permanently, quite literally, to the party's surprise there was a brothel behind the bar. What no better way to celebrate Zappy's graduation than for these guys to pay a sneaky peek visit into the undercellar. But as with all celebrations, there are always party poopers, where Saravok had sent in Slife and Kristen to ruin the fun. However, they had chosen poorly on this celebration to crash, only to drop a ticket to the Ducal Palace, a venue perfect for Zappybeard's graduation ceremony. When the heroic Shorties entered the Ducal Palace, additional guests of Skeleton Warriors and TX's Gas had joined the momentous occasion, and the party prepared themselves with buffs ready for this celebratory ceremony. As they entered the room, to their dismay, Saravok stood before them. After all the riffraff commotion, this turned out to be his inauguration. What insolence did he have to replace Zappybeard's ceremony with his crowning? Regardless, his fake visitors were put to rest and the heroes revealed Saravok's treacherous plan for mass genocide. Clearly not enjoying the taste of his own medicine, Saravok retreats from the whole ordeal, totally ruining this once-in-a-lifetime occasion for Zappybeard, so this leaves the final chase to find Saravok for a fortuitous final fight. With one last trip to the Sorcerer's Sundries, the burly boys were ready to take on the labyrinth Saravok laid before them. Trudging through the narrow corridors and cleaning up leftover bowls of jelly spilt by Saravok which he took from the party, Monty had accidentally taken a wrong turn only to be groped inappropriately by an invisible stalker. Yup, an invisible stalker. With one last bribe to the city's priest to bring Monty back to life, the short folk ventured back through the maze, finding an exit on the road to the Temple of Bar. A band of mercenaries were waiting for Zappybeard's arrival, but were only met with a fiery, webby fate, with Kagan finishing him off with an axie boomerang. Upon setting foot into the temple, the ghastly Calcium crew were brought back into the fray, with the heroes making final preparations in this momentous event to remove Saravok's existence once and for all. The Shorties took it upon themselves to have final rounds of chugs of the range of beverages they brought with them to this forsaken venue. Will this be Saravok's final moments, or will Zappybeard reincarnate once again? And thus begins the final fight. Saravok was lured to the Calcium crew by Kagan, in which his buddy Semaj TPs right into the fray, throwing a few malicious magic missiles before actually taking form to be a targetable opponent. The Calcium Company and Kagan kept Saravok at bay, while the rest of the party muddled Semaj with bullets and dispelling arrows. Semaj then took an opportune moment to reposition himself in the arena, but with Saravok nearing his fate, he took a desperate swap to attempt to take a chunk out of Kagan. However, Yeslik's red conker found its path directly towards Saravok's head. Tazok nor Angelo were nowhere to be found, and with Samaj contributing minimal danger, the Shorties had successfully brought Saravok to his demise. And with that, everyone, can you complete Baldur's Gate with Shorties Only? Yes, you can! Zappy Beard has journeyed throughout the Sword Coast, conquering malicious minds and surviving ferocious forests, leading to his claim of virtue that the Shorties of Baldur's Gate can overcome Saravok's scandalous plans. Mission complete!
I made such a big deal of it. My god, Zappy Beard.
So, I almost forgot to mention, this was in fact Zappy Beard the 9th success. Zappy Beard the 8th met with some unhappy druids who didn't like rich people.
Oh, flame weapons, okay, that's alright. Oh, look at that.